How millionaires use debt to stay rich. Debt, this four-letter word, is a double-edged sword from which any average person would run away. But why is it that millionaires run towards it instead? Is there something these millionaires know that the rest don't? In this video, we will reveal the hidden truths about how millionaires like Robert Kiyosaki use debt to increase their wealth. Stay tuned to find out the strategy millionaires use to utilize good debts to their advantage. In the modern world, only approximately 1.1% of the global adult population are millionaires, totaling around 60 million individuals. This group possesses roughly $192 trillion and commands about 46% of the world's wealth. One common practice among these individuals is using debt to achieve their goals, prompting the question of why this is the case. In normal circumstances, debt is often perceived as a negative situation associated with financial struggle or living beyond one's means. Recent data from the Federal Reserve reveals that the American household debt has reached a record $16.9 trillion, indicating a significant increase since 2019. For instance, credit card debt has surpassed pre-pandemic levels, reaching $986 billion. While it is expected to assume that individuals in debt are financially strained, it is essential to note that many successful individuals, such as Robert Kiyosaki and other millionaires, have effectively utilized debt to build their wealth. Data from the Federal Reserve shows that millionaires borrow more money than those with lower incomes. The top 1% of the population holds a significant 4.6% of all debt, while the bottom 50% only accounts for 36% of the outstanding debt. These stats show that millionaires leverage debt to accumulate wealth. Wealthy individuals rely on borrowing to manage their finances and build high credit scores strategically. Individuals or businesses can improve their financial situation by leveraging lenders' funds. You can adopt a similar approach as well. For instance, a person with financial resources might obtain funding to invest in a property that generates steady income and increases in value, thereby increasing their overall wealth. They might also use a margin loan to increase their stock market and pursue high returns. According to the Federal Reserve, millionaires borrow more than those with lower incomes for several significant reasons. One significant factor is that wealthier individuals typically carry higher mortgage debt because they are more likely to qualify for mortgage loans and own homes. In contrast, lower income individuals may struggle to afford a house or secure a mortgage, resulting in less debt. Additionally, wealthy individuals often take out larger mortgages to purchase larger homes, taking advantage of the mortgage interest deduction that subsidizes their home purchases through tax saving. While this deduction is available to lower income individuals, it typically requires itemizing, which may not be beneficial unless one has substantial individual deductions. Ultimately, owning a home helps wealthy individuals build their net worth as they accumulate equity and benefit from property appreciation. The wealthiest 1% of Americans also possess 2.1% of consumer credit, including credit card debt. However, these affluent individuals often use their credit cards to accumulate rewards, promptly paying off their balances to avoid accruing the interest. Despite their diligence in settling their debts, these balances still contribute to the overall credit owed by the wealthy, as credit card companies may report a balance before it is fully paid off. The statistics reveal that affluent Americans are skilled at borrowing strategically, using debt as a financial tool. Their borrowing activities often result in tax deduction, such as those associated with mortgages and credit card rewards. Moreover, they minimize interest payments by settling their credit card balances promptly and taking advantage of the typically low mortgage rates. In the case of mortgages, individuals are essentially acquiring a loan to invest in an asset that is likely to increase their overall wealth. You might be pondering whether you could emulate these individuals, as who wouldn't want to escape financial hardships? The good news is that the most people can adopt a similar borrowing approach. However, it's not about making impulsive decisions. The key lies in using debt as a strategic tool to improve personal finances instead of relying on high-interest consumer loans for everyday expenses or unnecessary purchases. For instance, the mortgage or student loan interest is often tax deductible, potentially saving the average American hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. They use debt to exploit tax loopholes. While owing money can feel like a heavy burden, it can also come with some tax benefits, as discussed earlier. Millionaires not only leverage high credit debt to their advantage but also exploit tax loopholes to minimize their tax payments compared to the average Joe. Recent data reveals that big shots like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk pay a mere fraction of their massive fortunes in yearly taxes. A US Department of the Treasury report suggests that the wealthiest Americans might be dodging as much as $170 billion in income taxes annually. Mind-blowing, isn't it? These millionaires use good debt to not only stay wealthy, but also to dodge taxes. They understand the distinction between regular and good debt, which separates them. As Robert Kiyosaki puts it, bad debt doesn't make money, but good debt does. Good debt is the kind of debt that boosts your net worth or holds a future value, while bad debt doesn't increase your wealth and leaves you strapped for cash. They know that only profits are taxed when it comes to non-salary income. So, while they may report a hefty sum at year's end, they can offset their tax bill by reporting high expenses. Take Elon Musk's Tesla for example, which ranked in nearly $1.9 billion in net profit from July to September. Tesla also claimed to have spent around $0.5 to $0.8 billion in capital expenses during that time. They could pay minimal or no tax if they can prove to the government that their costs match their income. Millionaires can legally reduce their taxes by seeking the expertise of financial advisors who can identify opportunities within the federal government's rules. Despite popular portrayals, millionaires don't typically have large sums of money readily available. Instead, their wealth is often tied up in real estate, stocks, mutual funds, retirement accounts, and crypto assets. When they sell these assets, they are subject to taxation, where borrowing comes into play. While borrowing money is usually a last resort for most people, for the ultra-wealthy it can be means to access funds without generating taxable income. They use debt to source money to invest in new opportunities. When wealthy individuals need funds to invest in new opportunities, they use their assets as collateral to borrow money. This capital is then invested into other assets that generates additional income, contributing to their wealth. Banks view high net worth individuals as less risky borrowers due to their assets and income, making them less likely to default on loans. Additionally, they often secure larger loans, resulting in lower interest rates. As a result, banks are inclined to offer attractive loan services with low interest rates, sometimes as low as 1% per year, to the millionaires. This approach benefits both parties. They use the borrow-buy-die strategy to minimize taxes and increase their wealth. Millionaires use the buy-borrow-die strategy to minimize their tax obligations and preserve their wealth. This concept, developed by Professor Ed McCaffery in 1990s, explains how wealthy individuals can retain their wealth by strategically managing their taxes through investing and planning rather than exploiting loopholes or engaging in fraudulent practices. The buy, borrow, die strategy is relatively straightforward once each step is understood. Examining each strategy component makes it more transparent how this approach can be beneficial in managing wealth. The first stage is to buy. The first step in the strategy involves using a portion of your wealth to acquire assets that are likely to increase in value over time. These assets include the stocks, real estate, artwork, and other investments. The goal is to take advantage of the potential for these assets to be appreciated. For example, real estate tends to increase in value over time and can also provide tax benefits through depreciation write-offs. Additionally, owning rental properties can generate ongoing income through seasonal or full-time leasing. Ideally, millionaires aim to acquire properties that will grow in value on a tax-deferred basis and generate passive income. The next stage is to borrow. Once appreciating assets have been acquired, the next step is to leverage them as loan collateral. Borrowing allows individuals to borrow money while maintaining the value of their underlying assets. Using assets as collateral, they can access funds without selling off investments and incur capital gain tax. This approach also provides a double tax benefit as borrowed money is not taxable. For instance, individuals can follow the example of Elon Musk, who used a portion of his Tesla stocks to secure $550 million of loan. Since borrowed money is not classified as income, it is not subject to taxation. The final stage is to die. In the buy, borrow, die strategy, individuals plan to their estate to be used to settle any outstanding loans after passing. This plan allows their heirs to avoid covering debts from their resources. Debt should not be used carelessly, even by millionaires. That's why most of them seek financial experts to get advice before they go into debt. It is hard to become a millionaire and even harder to remain one. Guys, we have reached the end of the video. What do you think these millionaires leverage on debt? Feel free to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to avoid missing out on our next video update.